morning. So you joined me at an apartment in Edinburgh. I drove up here yesterday from Cambridgeshire, stayed the night, and I had a little wander around yesterday afternoon, taking a few photos in the city, which I'll pop up on the screen in a moment. But I'm not really here to be in Edinburgh. I'm going to go and sort of do a recce run, as it were, of the Highlands a little bit. So originally I was meant to have a 6-week break off work this autumn, and I was going to come to Scotland for probably 2 or 3 weeks and spend a bit of time travelling around, but sadly COVID put a stop to that. So I'm going to use my last week's holiday and do a little investigation trip. So today I shall be driving up to Glen Coe, but via a few other little stops on the way that I've found, and hopefully get some nice pictures. The weather is, well, currently it's raining, but the cloud is a little bit broken, so I'm kind of hoping for some moody Scottish clouds, get some nice dramatic images, but that remains to be seen. But anyway, time to stick a cup of tea in the flask and get back to the car and head on to the first stop. So my first stop this morning isn't really a landscape location, but as I was driving past anyway, it seemed rude not to stop and just come and take a few pictures of the Fourth Rail Bridge. So it would have been easy to shoot from up there on the car park footpath, but down here there's some quite nice sort of rocks with seaweed on and so on, which I thought might make for a slightly more interesting foreground. So I've nabbed a shot at 35mm, which sort of leaves the bridge filling the frame fairly nicely, but I might try a couple of wider angles as well, because I think with the 15mm I can probably fit in the 2 newer bridges over there. So yeah, grab a few more pictures and see how they come out. Right, well I just managed to grab a few shots of the bridges, and then it started raining. So yeah, the weather is quite Scottish. Over to the west actually there's some brighter sky and a bit of blue sky even, which is where I'm heading next. So it does look murkier to the east. I'm not entirely sure which way it's going though. So I don't know whether the good weather is coming here or the bad weather is going there, I think. Anyway, onwards to the next destination. So, I've now parked in a forestry car park, which is quite close to a smallish loch called Loch Ard, which is on the sort of eastern edge of the Loch Lomond National Park. And I think if I walk down here and make my way over the stream that you can hear, which hopefully I can, there should be some nice little boat houses and jetties on the edge of the loch. And this edge of the loch is quite sheltered, so the water is often fairly calm as well, so hopefully some nice reflections. And the sun keeps popping out and going in again, so I might sort of hold on and see if the sun does appear. But anyway, I need to now make my way across a rickety little bridge and find some shots. So I think the first image was quite compositionally tricky, because there's 3 points of interest, but there's only 2 in the foreground. So you've got the jetty and the old wooden boat. I'll pop the picture up now, but I wasn't entirely happy with it, and I think the trees are quite heavy on the left hand side, so it didn't work that well. I'm walking along the road a little further now, because there's another little row of huts or boat sheds, boat homes, houses, homes, that you sort of shoot along the front face of them. I'll just see them down there, so I'll try that. But then I'll think on the way back I might try the first image again, but maybe try a portrait version with just the jetty and crop out the little boat, see if that simplifies it a little more. But anyway, I'm now at these small wooden boat houses, and see what image I can get. Well, it turns out that these other boat huts are quite a tricky shot as well. Just spin round. There's quite a lot of tree in front of them. So I'll come right down to the water's edge, traipse through the undergrowth a little bit, and yeah, that lets me get a little bit lower, but I'm not quite sure it's low enough. The lighting's quite difficult here as well, because I'm shooting kind of straight into the sun. So I'm not entirely sure how this is going to come out. It's kind of hard to tell from the back of the camera, but I'll pop it up on the screen in a minute anyway. It may be a bit rubbish, but anyway, I'm going to depart back through the brambles and start wandering back towards the first shot, I think. So I've come round to the other side of the boat houses, because the ground, or the shoreline, sort of sticks out a little bit, and actually it's a much nicer image. I think that works quite well, so I've grabbed that one. There's a little jetty over there as well, I might see if I can get to, but the ground is a bit flooded here, so I may or may not be able to get there. But yeah, I'll wander over that way, see if there's a shot there, and then start to head back. So the little jetty works quite well actually, but rather than do the obvious straight down shot, I've actually positioned it more kind of like that, mainly because the hillside on this side otherwise sort of dominated the image a bit too much. I think I preferred the central composition, and actually if I walk out a little way there's a nice view back towards the boat houses, so I'll grab another shot of those whilst I am here. It's a lovely spot, this, very peaceful, and there's a little bit of autumn colour in the trees. So yeah, the people that live in the nice houses around the edge of this loch are definitely rather lucky. Anyway, right, a couple more images, and then definitely time to head back to the car. So I've taken, I hope you can hear me, I've taken another little diversion, just sort of 5 or 6 miles off the main road, down Glen Orchy, because there's a, you can't really see it, there's a little waterfall over there, that's what's making all the noise. So I'm going to try and grab a couple of images here. It's a very tiny little windy road to get here, but not much traffic on it, but yeah, it's very pretty, so I will stop talking to you and take some pictures. So I've just moved a little bit closer to the waterfalls. I'm shouting, hopefully you can hear me. The problem is, because the sun is behind me, I am casting a bit of a shadow on the rocks, so I might need to Photoshop that out later, but I'm going for the 10-stop filter blurry water effect, which will hopefully look quite nice. But yeah, I'm going to grab a couple of different views here and then head back, I think. So I'm now heading along the road leading into Glen Coe, and I've just stopped at the roadside because there's this nice loch, and I think the mountain in the background is the Black Mountain. The loch I cannot remember the name of, because it was several weeks ago when I actually looked it up on the map, so I will put the name of that up on the screen. But there's lots of nice little rocks in the foreground, so I don't know, I'll try and capture an image here. I'm just watching where I tread, because it's quite squelchy underfoot, and I forgot to put my wellies on, and I can't bother going back to the car now. So anyway, I will grab a couple of pictures here, and then head onwards. So finally arrived in Glen Coe, and it's one of those locations that has a few pictures that everyone has taken, and one of which is this little cottage, Black Rock Cottage, with the mountain behind it. So, not wanting to break with tradition, I've grabbed my version of those images. I don't know what the weather will be like tomorrow, so you can see the top of the mountain at the minute, so I thought I'll get a banker in. Right, I'm now off to find my hotel for the evening and check in and make sure that's all okay. So I'm all checked in at the hotel, and I've just gone for a little wander around, try and grab a snap of the mountain, which I've just taken. I tried to put some sort of pretty pinky orange, I don't know, I guess it's heather or something, in the foreground, which necessitated an attempt at focus stacking, which isn't something I do very often, so we shall see how well that comes out. But anyway, that will probably be the last image for this particular video, because otherwise these will be far too long. So I will end this particular video at this point. So I'm actually here for 2 nights, so the next video will probably be whatever I get up to tomorrow, which is mostly exploring around Glen Coe and Glen Urchaidh. Yeah. Other than that, thank you for watching this first video from Scotland, and if you enjoyed it and want to see the rest of them, do give it a subscribe and click on the little notification doobry winkle. But yeah, otherwise I shall round off at this point with the last image or two, and see you again soon. Cheerio.